All righty, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the GoPerks Golden Modes. I'm Patricia Crane. I'm the commuter systems specialist here at GoTriangle. I manage the GoPerks program and I will be your host today. No doubt that we're all familiar with Zoom. It is 2021 after all. Today we are in webinar mode, which means that the video and audio will only go one way. So no need to worry about your cameras or muting your microphones. If you have a question or a comment, please use the Q&A feature to chat directly with the hosts. And finally, this session is being recorded and we will be posting it on our website. Now on with the show. GoPerks is our regional smart commute incentives program. It's the first of its kind in the nation. It's now in its 6th year of incentivizing Triangle commuters to choose an alternative mode for getting to work. Alternative commute modes, which we often refer to as smart commutes, include carpool, vanpool, transit, biking, walking, and telework. GoPerks users track their smart commutes in Share the Ride NC, earning points that they use to enter into our monthly drawings for gift cards to local businesses. Our GoPerks sponsors provide the funds for the $400 in local gift cards that we offer every month. Now, I mentioned that GoPerks is a regional incentives program. So what does that mean? Well, in a metro area as intertwined and fast growing as the Triangle, transportation demands are managed best through coordination and collaboration. So GoTriangle works with all of these regional partners that you see here on the screen to offer employers and commuters alternatives to driving alone. Together with the NCDOT, Triangle J Council of Governments, regional planning agencies, municipalities, and public transportation agencies, we provide Triangle companies and employees tools, services, and guidance on better ways to travel to work. This partnership includes Town of Apex, Commute Smart Raleigh, Go Chapel Hill, Go Triangle, Orange County Commuter Options, RTP, Way to Go Durham, and Wake County. And our university partnerships include Duke University, NC Central, NC State, UNC Chapel Hill, and Wake Tech Community College. So that's the short version of who we are and what we do. And here with us today to introduce our welcome speaker is Charles Latuca, President and CEO of GoTriangle. Chuck is an accomplished,
Oops, sorry.
Goodness, let me introduce you real quick here. Chuck is an accomplished transportation executive with more than 25 years experience in transportation management, project development and delivery, public policy and strategic planning. And prior to joining GoTriangle in April of 2020, Chuck worked for the Maryland Transit Administration, and he's also held executive positions at Baltimore City DOT, Montgomery County DOT, and the New York State Thruway Authority. Thank you for being here, Chuck. I apologize for the interruption there.
Thank you. Sorry for jumping the gun. So yeah, so you just laid out, I'm really old and I've had a lot of jobs and but all in transportation, and transportation has been my niche for actually almost 30 years now. So I'm even older than you put me out there to be. So I'm happy to be here for my first Golden Globes event. I've been with GoTriangle for 14 months now, and it's been very exciting. Even though we've been working a lot remotely, I think we've gotten a lot done over the last year. It's a very exciting time for the Triangle with all the new businesses moving in and Apple and all these announcements. So I think, you know, all of this lends itself to the program that we're talking about here today. Our GoPerks program rewards employees who track their smart commute choices at sharetheridenc.org. We appreciate our corporate financial sponsors who make it possible for us to provide gift cards to a diverse group of local small businesses and events across the Triangle. Over the past 18 months of COVID pandemic, and boy, it feels longer, many workers who have never been smart commuters before teleworking, which is one of the modes we're celebrating today. So we're starting to capture, you know, these workers. It's been a remarkable how the transportation demand management teams were able to, you know, find out about these workers and log their telecommute trips on Share the Ride NC website. We also know how critical public transportation is to the very fabric of our community. Our amazing bus operations teams have been on the front lines transporting essential workers to their jobs and our neighbors to food and healthcare. And I am happy to say that bus ridership is again on the rise after a long decline with COVID, and I think that's a great win. I'd like to recognize our elected officials who have joined us today. Having our policymakers support our smart commuting is something that we applaud, because having fewer people driving alone in their cars is better for all of us. So I'd like to welcome Vivian Jones, the Wake Forest Mayor, Linda LaBelle, Town of Carrboro Mayor, Kathleen Ferguson, Hillsborough Town Commissioner, Sig Hutchinson, Wake County Commissioner, Charlie Reese, Durham City Council Member, and Carolyn Spencer from the office of Deborah Ross. Deborah Ross also used to be our Go Triangle General Counsel a few years ago. I'm excited to hear the message that Governor Cooper has prepared and his administration's dedication to clean transportation. It's with state grants that these programs are made possible, and we could not do without them, in addition to our corporate partners. I'd also like to thank Raleigh City Council member and Go Triangle board member Corey Branch for being here today to offer our keynote address. I know we're all looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Now I'd like to introduce the Secretary of North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, who is offering our welcome today. Dr. Mandy Cohen was appointed by Governor Roy Cooper to be the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary in 2017. Since then, she has tirelessly led her team to improve health and safety and well-being in North Carolina's. And I think she has done a great job in helping the state and all of us deal with the COVID crisis. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Cohen to our event today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Mandy Cohen, Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. And welcome to the 2021 Go Perks Golden Modes, recognizing the remarkable achievements of the smartest commuters in the Triangle during an unprecedented year. In March of 2020, as COVID spread worldwide, life changed for everyone. For many in North Carolina, that change brought loss, a loss of jobs, of a sense of certainty, of companionship, and of cherished lives. And as our government enacted measures to keep North Carolinians safe, it was clear we all needed to make adjustments to our daily routines, even for activities as fundamental as going to work. We're here today to honor the companies and commuters who went above and beyond in 2020 to make smart transportation choices. From the employers who offered GoPass and telework, to commuters who chose bikes or to take the bus, to the companies that sponsor the Go Perks program, everyone worked together to make a difference this year and adapt to each new challenge. Many Triangle employers were able to transition to telework, but for some industries, that simply wasn't possible. People employed in healthcare, in transportation, and in retail stayed on the front lines, traveling to their jobs in person every day. It was difficult work and for many dangerous, but it was essential work. And we're here today to celebrate the companies, municipalities, transit agencies, universities, individuals, and families who make the Triangle a leader in smart commuting. And we're here today to say a special thank you to the essential workers, because in the larger sense, we're here today thanks to them. So to all the essential workers in the Triangle, and especially to those in attendance, thank you. Thank you to every healthcare worker, every transit driver, retail employee, and every gig economy worker who kept the lights on in the Triangle during one of our darkest hours. As we look towards a brighter year ahead, we know that we couldn't have gotten here without your courage and your strength. And I want to remind those of you who have gotten vaccinated to share your story about vaccination. If you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, there is still plenty of vaccine for everyone. Visit myspot.nc.gov to make sure you know where vaccine is close to you. Maybe you're taking one of our wonderful buses to one of your vaccine appointments. And thank you again for all you do. Stay well, everyone.
Thank you so much for that message, Dr. Cohen. It brings us right to the heart of why we're here. We're celebrating our champion smart commuters and thanking our frontline workers. From healthcare staff to retail and restaurant workers, to transit drivers and more, the people who went to work in person over the past year put themselves at risk to keep things going for those of us who were able to stay home and shelter in place. I'm sure we all have a connection to the front lines. Some of us were there ourselves. And speaking as someone who works at a transit agency, I just want to say thank you real quick to everyone who kept the buses running in 2020, helping people get where they needed to be. And with that said, now let's hear from a couple of our boots on the ground GoPerks users who were frontline commuters in 2020.
2020 is the most challenging year to myself and to everyone.
When the pandemic hit, I think like every other workplace, no one really knew quite what to do. And so there was a scramble to figure out our situation.
I work at the front line and we have to do COVID testing every day. I'm not allowed to work from home. I have no choice. I have to come to work every day.
Because healthcare is just provided in just a much better way when it's in person, we did have to make the decision as a clinic when we would come back in. So all of the providers, starting in July of 2020 is when we started to come back into the office.
At one point, the bus stopped running. I have to find a coworker. We try to save the gas and we try to carpool together.
I do remember having to think long and hard about how I was going to start commuting to work.
And when the bus started, I'm so excited and get on the bus again.
At first, the buses were actually really empty. I think most people were afraid to be in a public space like that. And I think the more folks had to make it to their frontline jobs, the bus did start to fill up again. And so now I'm back to a pretty typical commute. The buses, it's full, but not too full. I've never had a moment where I feel unsafe.
We are required to wear mask every day, and everyone is protected on the bus.
The drivers have done an amazing job just keeping everyone safe as much as they have control over.
And I really appreciate GoTrans system to help the commuter like me to continue come to work and to serve for the community and to fight the COVID with everyone together.
But I really was committed to taking the bus and riding my bike. It really is the best way to get to work.
I want to say thank you to the GoPerks commuters who shared their stories with us this year. I know that 2020 was a challenge for a lot of us in a lot of ways, and seeing how everyone rose to that challenge and adapted has been a bright spot for me over the past year. Now, challenge doesn't automatically mean hardship. Sometimes it can mean there's a particular goal that you're working toward. Challenge coins have been a tradition in many areas of American life for years now. And last year we introduced our own challenge coins as both an award and a motivator for our GoPerks smart commuters. The GoPerks challenge coins are our way of ensuring everyone who chooses a smart commute is rewarded for their efforts. Each bronze, silver, and gold coin that we award recognizes someone special worthy of a token of appreciation. It's a little bit of a departure from some of our previous awards ceremonies, like the original Golden Modes, which some of you out there might remember from years past. Golden Modes was a unique way for us in the TDM world to recognize and acknowledge the champions of smart commuting at all levels. We had awards for community champions, employer transportation coordinators, and individual awards like the Golden Spoke, Golden Sneaker, the Pool Party Award. It could be a challenge deciding who to highlight, which is why we've taken the philosophy behind Golden Modes, where we recognize organizations and individuals who make a difference, and we've distilled it down to its essence. We focus on one simple metric, one clear goal, and we can recognize everyone who reaches it. So the GoPerks Golden Modes blends those two approaches together, allowing us to give out unique awards for individual efforts while still capturing and acknowledging the hard work of everyone who's participating in GoPerks. So let's see our first round of winners. The names you're seeing here are GoPerks participants who've tracked trips that saved at least 2 tons of greenhouse gases from entering the atmosphere. That's tons, not pounds. 2 tons. The names that are highlighted here are folks who reached that milestone in 2020, and we're particularly proud to recognize them at this year's ceremony. The names you see here represent 270 tons of greenhouse gases that did not go into the air that we breathe. So these folks all received the bronze coin for 2 tons of greenhouse gases saved apiece. And a ton of greenhouse gas can be difficult to visualize. You don't usually think of gases in terms of tons. And we're going to be talking about it a lot today, so it might help to think about it like this. If you were to compress 1 pound of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into a liquid form, it would just about fill up somewhere between a tall and a grande cup at Starbucks. So that means that each one of the people on the screen, each one of our bronze coins winners, has saved greenhouse gases equivalent to nearly 3,800 morning coffees. That's each one of them, 3,800 morning coffees worth of greenhouse gases. And gift cards to local coffee shops are always popular GoPerks prizes. We all love a hot beverage on our way to work. Who doesn't need a pick-me-up? But just imagine if you had to drive through hundreds of coffee cups or thousands of coffee cups when you were starting your morning commute. So I think that we all owe these bronze coin commuters a venti size thank you. Congratulations to everyone on this screen. Thank you so much for participating. And now I'm pleased to introduce Raleigh City Councilman Corey Branch, who's joined us here today to give our keynote address. As a native of Raleigh, Corey has served the city of his birth in numerous ways since he graduated and returned home from North Carolina A&T State University with a degree in electrical engineering. While working at AT&T as a senior technical director, Corey speaks out on behalf of the citizens of District C. He's particularly passionate about reliable bus service and adequate coverage in District C, and he works towards that goal as a member of the Raleigh Transit Authority and as a Go Triangle Board of Trustees member. So please welcome Councilman Branch.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for having me, Patricia. Thank you for everything. Chuck, thank you. And welcome to your first GoPerks program and to the area. Thank you to all the elected officials who are watching. But most of all, I want to take the time to thank our frontline workers. You are the ones that keep us going through pandemics, through good times and through bad. And I want to personally, before I even start, say just thank you. Thank you to our nurses, our doctors, but thank you to our operators. Thank you to our mechanics. Thanks to everyone that works on the bus, those that are in the offices that manage and supervise. Because when everything else shut down, you kept us moving. You kept us going. You kept our economy alive. So I just want to take this time to recognize that and say thank you. Before I start, I want to tell a story about a young man. This young man is in school and he is working hard to make good grades. And this young man wants to participate in after school activities, but the individual is unable to get a ride. And we know Wake County Public Schools are here and other places have activity buses. But anyone who has a child in school, in middle and high school, knows sometimes these activities go past that time frame of when the buses pick everyone up. And you want to make sure that you have a child that's well-rounded and can grow and give back to the community. So how do they get home? Who do they call? Do they call a friend? Can they walk? Do they catch the bus? The city bus, as we all know it so well? Well, that is what you all do day in, day out as our service providers and as our employees. You help these young men and these young women who are in high school and middle school make it home from day to day. You assist them in getting to the job. Many of them are working, helping taking care of their families, especially in this COVID crisis. Because of the work that you do, you assist a young man and a young woman to grow and prosper. Well, fortunately for me as a child, I was not the young person that rode the bus, but I was during the summer. My mom would drop me off at St. Augustine's University for enrichment program, but there's no way to get home when the program ends in the middle of the day. So I would catch the number 10 downtown Raleigh. And then after waiting a while, grabbing something to eat, I would jump on the 5 and go home. For many of our young people, you know, that has been a challenge. We have worked diligently to expand our bus service and to add new operators so that we have those that need to ride, that need to get to their job and get to school, an opportunity and a place to go. And that's what you all provide. And when we think about our Go Perks program, some of those in the Go Perks program have options and some do not. So I do want to recognize those who have options. You can jump in your car and drive to where you need to go, but you understand the importance of protecting our environment. You understand the importance of being there and making sure that not just the economy keeps going, but that people can get their need and services when they go to the doctor, that someone's there when they show up. So I just want to take that time and just say, as you continue to work and as you continue to go, today we're celebrating these milestones of green gas emissions reductions through our Go Perks initiative program. The program that provides options for positive impact to improve the quality of life by improving air quality, increasing standard of living through encouraging and educating commuters. That's what our Go Perks program is about. But that's more importantly, it's not just the program. I keep coming back to you, the operators, you, the mechanics. You keep us going. So the perk that I get is seeing your smiling faces. And unfortunately, we're having to Zoom everything still, and we can't be in person. I can't see you. But I want to thank you for what you do in helping families reduce the need of car ownership and maintenance costs. You're helping households understand the household wealth, and finding ways for long-term economic development. As our region continues to grow, we have to find ways to decrease the need of roadway improvements and expansions. And this is one of the benefits of this program and our transit system. And today, our 6th anniversary of Go Perks program, but 16 years of our regional transportation demand management program. Some know it as TDM. That program does so much to help our citizens. I just think about the mother that has kids and she needs to get to work, but say, you know, one of her child is sick and she caught the bus to work. So how does she get home? Well, we have van pool programs and carpool programs that she can pick up and call, and someone can assist them and help her get to where she needs to be. So to those operators that operate our carpool and van pool, thank you. Thank you for your work and everything that you do as we move forward. You know, none of this, again, is possible without our frontline essential workers. And many of you have been challenged during this pandemic. You too have had to lean on the services of the carpool and the van pool. And even though some of you are fortunate where you can bike or walk, but the fact that you're not just providers of the program, you're also users of the program. That brings a value add to the overall program and what we can do. And hopefully your feedback and input can give us ways to grow the program and to improve it along the way. So again, I say thank you for your work and for what you do. But as our system grows and the demands arise, we have to look at new services. One of the main services that I know we're looking right now and implementing is bus rapid transit. And how do we take, you know, an hour service and 30-minute service and make it 15 minutes reliable with dedicated bus lanes, connecting Garner and Raleigh and Cary to Raleigh and Morrisville and Knightdale as the program continues to grow. We look forward to bus rapid transit being fully implemented in phase 1 by 2029, or if not soon, sorry, 2026, if not sooner. But then again, there's another big picture that we can look to connect the region. And I think about, as I used to drive to RTP before COVID, and you know, the traffic and the congestion, how can we aid in that commute? What are things we can do to help that driver that's coming from Johnson County to RTP? How can we have more jobs to help people get around? Well, something told me that sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel might just be a train. And I pray at some point that train is maybe commuter rail. As we go and we push to have a system that connects Mebane to Clayton, think about how many commuters we can assist and we can aid, and roadways we will not have to widen with a strong commuter rail system. And as we grow that system, let's not forget about our friends way out in Wake Forest and Roseville. We have train tracks that run that way too, that in future phases that we can bring in and we connect. So think about if you live in Wake Forest, you have a job in Orange County, and you don't want to drive. Here's a perk: get on a commuter rail. Now we're a ways out, but these are things that, as I sit on the Go Triangle board that we discuss and we talk about, and as I represent the citizens of Raleigh, in District C, but Raleigh overall, these are the conversations that we have. And I want to thank the staff that, you know, are in those long meetings, and even our planning staff that aren't necessarily in transportation, but every day it seems like it gets bigger and bigger because we're all connected. And when we talk about the connectivity, we have to talk about housing. Affordable transportation, having our strong bus system, looking at bus rapid transit, looking at commuter rail, are all ways to assist someone in reducing their costs in housing and making it more affordable and keeping people closer in to each other. These are the things and the attributes that we can design it and we can draw it. But it's you, our frontline workers, our operators, is you who can make this happen. Is you who can be that voice. So I say thank you for all the things that you continue to do as we move forward. Because as we connect our great partners here in Raleigh and Durham and Wake Forest, Apex, Hillsborough, Carborough, and Chapel Hill, and the Research Triangle Park, and we look at our universities, Duke University, UNC Chapel Hill, North Carolina Central, NC State, and Wake Tech, all of these are hubs that everyone is moving towards. They're places that everyone wants to go, but they're also places that can change a life. They can change the outcome of a young child's future. So when we get up in the morning and we go about our ways, we have to take the time to think about our young people. Think about that young girl or young child who are now out for school or about to be out for school. They're going to need a ride to that community center. They're going to need a ride with mommy and daddy to the store. It's you, our frontline operators, our essential workers, that make that happen. And that is something I will never, ever forget, ever. And as we look back in 2020 and in March, and we have these new riders called teleworkers. No, they're the ones that used to Monday through Friday, they're always on the interstate, but now they may go into office 2 or 3 days a week. Bringing them into them getting on the 300, you know, riding it between Raleigh and Durham and Research Triangle Park, and taking that time of doing that work before the meeting because they have internet and Wi-Fi on the bus. These are the things that, you know, sometimes we don't think about, that we overlook, but they're the parts that keep us going. You know, when 83% of our employees surveyed are now moving to teleworker, we're going to have others jumping into our Go Perks program. And they're going to need reliable responsible drivers like yourselves and operators. They're going to need reliable employers to understand the benefit of GoPerks. So I employ our current employers. Reach out to another company. Tell them, hey, here's a GoPerks program. This is something you can do for your employees to get them involved and get them to work. And in doing that, this allows more companies to want to come because they understand the robust transit system that we have in this region, because that is what it's all about. And that's how we can move forward. So I say to the 155 individuals that will be recognized today that help reduce our green gases, thank you. Thank you for taking a part. And 355, 155, let's see if we can get it to 355 and many more to recognize, because as we reduce our green gases, we also protect our earth. And we think about, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I think about my 2-year-old daughter and what will Raleigh look like in the next 20 years? Where are we going? What can we do? It's up to us to do that. And as we continue to grow, and I think about all the electric vehicles, where we're looking at electric buses too, and how those electric buses can play even a more viable part of moving us forward as we reduce our own carbon footprint with our electric buses and our natural gas buses. So I say thank you for all that you do. I look forward to working with you all, working with my elected officials, working with Chuck. Patricia, thank you for what you do and bringing this together. I mean, we are one region. When everyone looks, they always look at not just Raleigh, not just Durham or Chapel Hill, not just Knightdale, Morrisville, Carrboro, Orange County, Durham County, or Wake County. They look at us as one. So let's continue to be that one. Let's continue to be the community that can move us all forward and keep us moving into the 22nd century. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Branch. Hopefully everybody is seeing our slide again here. Thank you so much for everything you just said. It's so timely and it's so relevant to everything that we're talking about today. So I truly appreciate you taking the time to be here today with us to do this and to send a message to us. I'd like to follow up real quick by acknowledging the sponsors who make all of this possible. These are our GoPerks sponsors, and they literally provide the funds for the GoPerks prizes that we give out every month. Without the organizations here on the screen, we wouldn't be here today to hear the motivational words of leaders like Councilman Branch and Chuck Latuka and Dr. Cohen. So thank you so much to American Tobacco Campus, RTP, Way to Go Durham, Cocoa Booth Amphitheater, Duke Parking and Transportation, Springboard Promotions, Commute with Enterprise, and the Southeast chapter of the Association for Commuter Transportation. Thank you to all of our sponsors for making the GoPerks program possible. And I'm excited to announce that we're not done hearing from the leaders in our state. It's my honor right now to introduce a man who needs no introduction, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper.
Hi, everybody. Governor Roy Cooper here. Every week, we're seeing more and more companies choose to expand in North Carolina. This growth is great for our state, but we need to be smart about it. And the folks we're honoring here today are setting a great example of how to do just that. In 2018, my Executive Order 80 charted out a path for our state to fight climate change and create high-paying, clean energy jobs. Part of that effort is reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. I'm proud of the commuters in the GoPerks program for thinking outside the box, taking public transit, carpooling, using our greenways and bike-friendly roads to bike to work. No small feat in a North Carolina summer. In 2020 alone, our GoPerks smart commuters have kept more than 1 million pounds of greenhouse gases out of our atmosphere. Your dedication is helping us build a brighter future for all of North Carolina. Thank you again for going above and beyond to change the way the Triangle commutes to work.
I'd like to say a big thank you to Governor Roy Cooper and his staff for that message. It means the world to me and to our TDM partners, everyone we work with, when our efforts and goals are shared by our elected officials and political figures. And Governor Cooper's messaging truly brought joy to my team here at Go Triangle. Since Governor Cooper was kind enough to help spread the word a little on TDM messaging in the vein of paying it forward, and to touch a little bit on what Councilman Branch mentioned a few minutes ago, I want to be sure that everybody today knows about the Triangle Commuter Rail Project. The Triangle region is growing so quickly. We hear about it every day, and the region needs more transit options. So commuter rail really needs to be one of them. There's more information than I could possibly give you today, but please be sure to learn more at readyforrailnc.com. Can answer all of your questions. I'm personally excited for commuter rail to come to the region, because it would be another commute option that we could include in Go Perks. And with that said, let's get down to the nuts and bolts of Go Perks in 2020. How did things shake out? What did the program look like? I'm going to be showing you a lot of information in these next few minutes. And if you wonder where it comes from, the answer is Share the Ride NC, or sometimes abbreviated strnc.org. Share the Ride NC is a statewide site. It houses various programs throughout North Carolina, and it's used by thousands of commuters to help find carpools, van pools, bike buddies. It keeps track of emissions and savings for users, and it's the home of Go Perks. This is where our smart commuters record their trips and earn their points and enter into prize drawings. We've got a mobile app for both Android and iOS platforms, and it can sync up with your fitness apps to automatically record your trips. So if you're out on your bike with your Strava app, your trip can be logged in Share the Ride NC. And one of our newest updates gives commuters the option to automatically track their trips. Just tell the app what your typical commute looks like, and the app will do the rest. We're always trying to make things easier. So that was our update for this year. And you can track any kind of trip in Share the Ride NC. It doesn't just have to be a commute, although only smart commutes count for Go Perks points. But your profile will show you how much money and fuel you've spent or saved. It'll tell you how far you've gone and all kinds of other interesting data that can shape your travel habits. So if you're not in Share the Ride NC yet, go ahead and sign up today. And even though not every commuter in the Triangle is participating in Go Perks, it is our goal to have every single one of you participating in Go Perks. But for now, the data from the ones who do participate, it gives us a ton of information in regards to what commutes looked like in 2020. Historically, teleworking accounted for around 2% of the trips that were tracked in Share the Ride NC. But by the end of 2020, it was almost 40% of trips tracked over the year. And early in the pandemic, it accounted for up to 68% of trips recorded. So a lot of teleworking going on there, especially in the early days. Pre-COVID-19, Go Perks users could track their telework trips and see the benefits of that option on their wallets and their emissions impacts, but telework trips didn't count for Go Perks points. The idea was that working from home was its own reward. But it wasn't too far into the pandemic that we realized that Go Perks would need to pivot and adapt to the new wave of telework that was sweeping across the Triangle. So we made the change in April of 2020 to allow for telework trips to earn points. This choice was made for a few important reasons. First of all, obviously, we saw all of the memes. Everybody's talking about telework, and we knew that we wanted to collect data about commuting during the pandemic, and it would be difficult to capture in a traditional sense. So encouraging users to record their commutes meant that we would have a subset of data that we could look at and share with our funders, our employers, our partners and sponsors, and to share with all of you. And secondly, the success of Share the Ride NC and programs like Go Perks, it depends on users. The more users we have participating in Share the Ride NC, the more carpools, van pools, and people who can successfully choose smart commute options that we have. So by allowing telework trips to earn points, we've kept users engaged with Share the Ride NC over the past year. And this should mean that as users transition back to different commute modes, Share the Ride NC will be packed full of users who can be potential matches for carpools, bike buddies, van pools, etc. So even if you didn't leave the house in 2020, if you were teleworking and tracking your trips, you still went above and beyond as far as we're concerned. Everyone who tracked a teleworking trip this year has helped us keep the GoPerks program and Share the Ride NC going strong. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to track your commute from your bedroom to your living room, but you did. And honestly, nobody would have blamed you if keeping track of your commute was something that you let slide in 2020. So that's all the more reason for us to thank you here today. So to everybody who was teleworking, thank you so much for giving us that information. As the GoPerks program grows, we watch every single statistic and metric so that we can review trends and view our successes and keep an eye on the areas where there could be improvement. We're going to cover some of the most noteworthy data points today, but looking at the number of smart commutes that were tracked is a great place to start. As you can see here, there's a difference between 2019 and 2020. 2019 was a phenomenal year. And at the beginning, initially, 2020 was on track to surpass it in terms of numbers of trips tracked. And then, as we've all said so many times over the past year, and then COVID happened. So yes, the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, had a massive impact on how people commute and how they tracked their commutes in the triangle. I'd love to see the alternate universe numbers where this column of 2020 numbers is twice as high as 2019. But all things considered, we're really happy with how the numbers shook out here in the real world. And that is down to our users giving us the data. So thank you again. In 2020, almost 30,000 of those 66,000 trips that you see logged there in 2020 were telework. So close to half, and there's every reason to expect that telework will continue to be a big part of work life going forward in the Triangle and around the world in the coming years. And that said, whether it's telework or commuter rail, or even driving alone every now and again, a main goal for me and for my team is to see the overall number of trips tracked increase in 2021. And everyone here today can help make that happen. Now, if there is one slide that you wanted to capture and share from today's webinar, this is the one that I would suggest. Go ahead and screen cap it, share it on social media, and hashtag GoPerks, because the amount of greenhouse gas reduction in 2020 is truly inspiring. As Governor Cooper stated, over 1 million pounds of greenhouse gases were reduced in 2020, thanks to the hard work and avid trip tracking of GoPerks users. I see this statistic and I believe that by next year, we'll be able to double the amount of greenhouse gas reduced compared to where we started in 2015. And speaking of greenhouse gases, introducing our next round of commuting champions. Everyone you see here on the screen has saved at least 5 tons of greenhouse gases with their smart commuting choices. And again, the names that are in bold that are highlighted reached that milestone this year, and they received their 5-ton coin, the silver coin. This year, we began awarding the coins each quarter. So our GoPerks commuters have a real-time, real-world token of appreciation for their accomplishments. Some of these folks whose names you see here might have bumped up from bronze over the past year. All that teleworking can really add up to cleaner air for all of us. And if we're talking coffee, the silver coin champions have each saved nearly 10,000 grande mocha frappuccinos worth of greenhouse gases with their smart commutes. That's 10,000 cups each. And now with that, let's go ahead and hear from a few more of our smart commuters.
So my commuting experience during 2020 was pretty different than the other years.
I was somebody who for 14 years, always, every day, Monday through Friday was in the office. And, for me personally, that meant riding my bicycle to work.
Pre-COVID, my organization utilized a lot of the public transportation in the Raleigh area. I personally am a big fan of the free bus that circulates through Raleigh.
And before to know I was, expecting a baby, actually I was still biking to work because the pandemic was not still, an issue.
And it was in 2020 of March where I was told we would be working from home for a little while.
And so telework was very beneficial to everyone in the Riot organization and most of our partners who are still working from home, like I am right now.
And it was a pretty big change. That meant, doing stuff like this all day long.
And I had a little home office set up. And then my daughter was actually working from school, doing school from home as well. So we had a lot of adjustments to make.
I always thought I would be too distracted to have 4 kids in the house and actually get work done. But I find actually the case to be the opposite. I find I'm more focused.
And so I've been able to work with my employer to arrange for some permanent work from home options. And I'm minimizing the big loop. I've eliminated that completely from my life. And that feels really good.
Now I have much more flexibility. I'm biking, I'm going by car. I have more option for commuting.
I really love the Share the Ride website and the Go Perks program.
And it's a really simple system to use and it's nice. I like how it drags and drops. It makes it easy to do.
Working from home was not a way that you could earn points. And so it was actually really nice to see Go Triangle pivot and provide points for folks who were then working at home.
It's definitely a great incentive to do more smart commuting, including using the R line, telecommuting, biking, using the city bus.
What I found most exciting about it was that over time you could see the impact on the environment. It would do a little calculation. It would tell you this is what your contribution is to, the carbon footprint. Here's your change. And that was rewarding for me to be able to see that.
So the prizes for Go Perks I've found to be really, really practical.
It's also a great way to support local businesses, getting a gift certificate to a local business that maybe I have never tried before, and then getting some friends to try it out with me.
I think you're going to find a good alignment of people who care about their commute and care about the impact that they're having on the world. It's also going to align with wanting to spend those dollars locally.
The gift card has a different variety and people can choose from burgers, choose from market to shopping, choose from morning sun biscuit.
And I really like the Go Perk prizes for Weaver Street. I actually have that right here.
And I'm a big fan of the bicycle chain. So when I had that option as a reward, I was always very, motivated in tracking my commuting.
And when I get some gift card, I share with my nursing staff.
So, and the other thing I won, which I totally was surprised by, is
This little challenge token on my desk here from Go Triangle. It says 10 tons of greenhouse gases saved.
It's still like to win a medal. So give you some, pride, or you have done something good.
And so those things were a nice perk. It was nice to have that as an added bonus to all the other things that I found rewarding about it.
More people are logging their trips and getting engaged, and maybe when we do start to get back to whatever normal is, people will continue to find alternative ways to commute.
I really appreciate everything that y'all do. It's a great program.
I thank you again to all of our commuters who shared their stories with us. I promise we did not tell them what to say. It's just so great to hear directly from people who can tell us what the program means to them, and some familiar names that I see every month when I'm sending out prizes. But it's more than greenhouse gases. GoPerks Share the Right and See gives us a lot of data. And one of the most important pieces of data is how much money you've saved. So in 2020, we can see that nearly our GoPerks commuters saved almost $260,000. And that's money that goes right back into the local economy. So we're not just saving the planet, we're saving wallets. GoPerks does it all. 2020 here with calories burned. We were on track to be a record-breaking year again for statistics, especially when it came to calories burned. Obviously, the pandemic did have a massive impact on active commuters, folks who bike and walk, et cetera, to work. And as we all know, staying home, staying inside, and staying safe became a priority. But it's still really impressive to see that 2.8 million calories were burned by our active community just in 2020. So congratulations to all of you who managed to stay active and maybe avoid the COVID-19, as they say. Thank you so much for tracking those trips and letting us know where you were going, what you were doing, and helping GoPerks to collect that data. Now this slide here, this is a little bit of inside baseball. We're not going to spend too much time on this today. And this is kind of for our transportation folks out there. Anybody with the DOT, with the transit agencies, planners, y'all might be interested in this. This is vehicle miles traveled, or VMT. It's a measurement concerning the amount that a vehicle travels. And in regards to GoPerks, it's really how much a vehicle didn't travel. So we're considering how much, if your commute is normally 15 miles one way and you take a smart commute, you take the bus one day, then that's, or if you telework instead of driving alone, that's 15 miles of vehicle miles traveled that are reduced by your smart commute. So if anybody out there in the transportation world wants to use this metric, go ahead. Feel free to screen cap it. And if you ever have any questions about it, just let us know. Share the Right and See is a wealth of data on commuting in the Triangle, and we're happy to share that with everyone. And our last bit of data here, it addresses the massive amount of information that we collect and evaluate each year. I know this is a lot of bar graphs, but we want to end definitely on one here where 2020 is going up. And there are so many factors that go into measuring environmental impact. We wanted to share all of that data with you. So while 2020 was a difficult year in a lot of ways, you can see here that it wasn't all bad news. These charts show that even as our commuters tracked fewer trips, GoPerks users still reduced the amount of carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, particulate matter, formaldehyde, all kinds of other harmful emissions that go into our atmosphere. So it's a great note to end our data share on, but knowing that we had record-breaking environmental impacts, even in a year like 2020, it gives us something that we're really proud to share. And we've seen the impacts and benefits of smart commuters, but in order for GoPerks to benefit the commuters, the employees, they first have to learn about the program, and that often happens through their employers. So here we see just some of the employers that we work with, and we want to say thank you to them today as well. Although 2020 and 2021 have been, unique years for transit operations, with many transit systems operating fare-free or suspending fares, we wanted to be sure that we highlighted our champion employers as well. So many of the businesses listed here offer their employees the Go Pass. Those are the folks who are highlighted in blue. And Go Pass allows them free transport on all area buses across the Triangle. It's Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill is public transit is always fair to riders in Chapel Hill. So the Green Go Triangle buses, our buses connect the cities, and employers who participate in the Go Pass program are laying out their resources to make it easier for their employees to move around the Triangle. It's a fantastic benefit to offer, and we're proud to partner with so many employers who recognize how important it is to make it easier for their employees to access public transit and to participate in GoPerks. Before we look at our gold medal winners and let you go here today, I wanted to take a moment to encourage everyone who's here today, everyone in attendance, consider what each of you can do to have a positive impact on reducing traffic, saving money, and improving the environment and quality of life for yourself, as well as everyone in the Triangle. Small actions can have massive positive impacts. So I know it sounds like a tall order, but it's really not if you break it down into small steps. If you've never taken transit to work, consider it. If you have a trip where you would normally drive alone, visit Share the Ride and see if you can find a carpool partner, someone to go with you. If your company needs to develop or update its telework plans, we have a wealth of resources and TDM partners that can help you do that. And lastly, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't also highlight the benefits of sponsoring a program like GoPerks. GoPerks is a great way, it's simple, and it's a great way to promote your company's social responsibility goals and gain brand awareness across the triangle. We have so many fantastic partners and sponsors that have worked with us over the years, and we'd love to have you join the ranks. So visit gotriangle.org or send me an email to get started. And now we come to the best of the best of the best, our gold coin winners. Each one of these people has saved at least 10 tons of greenhouse gases through their smart commuting. And if you convert that to grande unicorn lattes with extra foam, it's almost 19,000 coffees a piece, just massive. That seems like a huge number, and it really is. But each of these people who won these wonderful coins, each of these people accomplished this goal, 10 tons, every single one of them. And they did that day by day, making choices, big or small, that added up over time. A goal like reversing global warming or saving the planet seems too big for one person, because it is. It is. And even something like reducing carbon emissions can feel nebulous and unattainable. But when you break it down into smaller pieces, you can do it. And these GoPerks commuters, these gold coin winners and their fellows who've won bronze and silver, they show that it's possible. You just have to break it down into smaller steps, make a choice every day, or a couple times a week or a couple times a month. Break it down into smaller steps and individual choices, and just keep on tracking. So congratulations again to our gold coin winners. 10 tons of greenhouse gases saved is a massive, massive accomplishment. Now, we do have a list of the attendees who are here today. So by this time next year, I'd like to see all of your names listed on one of our winner screens. Maybe not for a gold coin, that's a pretty tall order for 1 year. But if you start taking some smart commutes every month, I think that we could see you listed for bronze. So let's think about it, get it done. Thank you all for being here today. We're closing out here in a few minutes. And a quick special thank you to one of our GoPerks sponsors, Springboard Promotions. They provided the awesome cache of goodies that you are looking at right now. We want your feedback on today's program so we can improve for next year. And we've prepared a quick survey for you to let us know your thoughts. And everyone who fills it out will get a chance to win this prize pack, courtesy of Springboard Promotions. The link is posted in the chat. We're going to post that in the chat, and it'll be sent to you in a follow-up email. So if you just go ahead and click on the link when you get it, fill out the survey, and hopefully we can send you this prize pack. It's really what I love about GoPerks. Springboard coming in with a prize pack for our survey responders. It's all about combining our efforts, whether it's a few people looking for a carpool, a group of coworkers who get into a van pool, a university helping its employees use transit, or a big company chipping in to fund the whole thing. GoPerks brings us together so that we can all make a difference. And I'm proud to be a part of that. Truly. So to the GoPerks participants who are setting the gold standard for commuting in the Triangle, thank you. Thank you to the frontline workers who kept making those smart choices, even in the middle of a global pandemic, as you worked so hard to keep things going for your fellow North Carolinians. Thank you to our TDM partners across the region who work so hard to bring people and companies new choices and solutions for traveling in the Triangle. Thank you to the GoPerks sponsors who fund the program, and encouraging those outstanding citizens to keep making smart choices, even when the going gets tough. Thank you. And thank you today for our guests, to Chuck Latuka, Secretary Cohen, Governor Cooper, and Councilman Branch for making the GoPerks Golden Modes so special this year. And thank you for being here to honor our smart commuters. Again, I'm so proud to work with all of you to make a brighter tomorrow in North Carolina and in the Triangle in particular. And I hope to see you all in person at next year's awards. Thank you so much.